Hello friends, you're welcome back to this channel. What I have today is how to cut a male short. It's very easy. In this video, I'm going to take you through step by step how to achieve this project. You are going to find this tutorial helpful and interesting. All you need to do is just to take your time and watch this video to the end. And at the end, you will give it a thumbs up. Thank you. So let's get started. Now here is my fabric. This is the right side. Why this is the wrong side? Well, I'll be working with the right side. Now, the width for this fabric, I have this is 22 times 2 because it's on fold. So I have the total of 44 for the width. Now for the length, I have 17 inches. Now to determine your width, what you're going to do is to divide the hip by 4. In this case, the hip for this tutorial is 28 inches. I divided it by 4, which gives me 7 inches. So that 7 inches, I added 4 inches to it, giving me the total of 11. So that 11, you multiply it by 4. That will give you the width you are to cut for your fabric. So that's why 11 times 4 gives me 44 inches. And that's why I'm having it here. So now for the length, it depends on how long or short you want it to be. But you are making a short pant anyway. So the next thing I'm going to do right now, you can see it's on fold. It means I've folded it into 2. That's why this place is no joining. Then I refold it again the second time. Can you see? So which means I will be having 4 pieces. Here is 1, 2, 3, and 4. So, and it has to be folded into equal parts, like I'm doing right now. So I refold it again. So I will be having 4 equal pieces. So right now we are going to start. So the first thing I'm going to do right here, at the edge here, I'm going to measure 1.5 inches downwards. So I mark. I also extend it to this other side and mark 1.5 inches downwards. Can you see? So right now I'm going to connect these lines together using my ruler. Can you see? So this space becomes my elastic because I will be using elastic for this. So this space becomes my elastic allowance. So the next thing I'm going to do is to measure the length for this short. But I will be using 13 inches. So from this waistline, this line becomes my waistline. From this waistline, I'm going to mark 13 inches downwards. 13 inches plus 1 inch for the hem allowance. So I will be having the total of 14 inches. So I mark it right here. I also extend it to this side. Can you see? From the waistline, I mark 14 inches downwards. So I will also connect this line using my ruler. Can you see? I've connected the lines. So the next thing I'm going to do right now is to also go back to the hip. Now, to mark what I have on this waistline, I'm going to divide my hip because it's elastic. So I divide my hip by 4. And in this case, the hip is 28. So 28 divided by 4 gives me 7 inches. So 7 inches plus 1.5 inches, I will be having the total of 8.5 inches. So on this waistline, I mark 8.5 inches. Can you see? So right now, how do I determine the distance from my waistline to the hip line. So is to divide my hip again by 4 plus 1.5 inch. So if yours, for instance, if the hip you're working with is 30 inches, for instance, so 30 inches divided by 4 will give me 7, will give you 7.5 inches. So that 7.5, you have to add 1.5 inches to it, which will give us 9 inches. So that will be the length you have to mark from the waistline to that point. But in this case, the the hip circumference is 28 inches. So 28 inches divided by 4 will give me 7 inches. So 7 inches plus 1.5 inches will give me the total of 8.5. So from this waistline, I'm going to mark 8.5 inches downwards. I also extend it to this side. I mark 8.5 inches. I'll first connect this line together. Let me quickly mark it on this so that I can achieve a straight horizontal line. So I connect. Now to determine the circumference, what I have here, I measure 8.5 inches here. So I will quickly transfer it to this place, starting from the center here. So I mark 8.5 inches here because I use the hip to divide. So from this point now, I'm going to extend it outward by 2 inches. So I mark 2 inches outward. Okay. So I'm going to go up here. I will also first connect this line together. That is the waistline to this second line here. After this, the next thing I'm going to do right now is to make a curve, create a curve right here. So you could use your French curve and you could use your free hand. Can you see? So the next thing I'm going to do right now, the 2 inches by which I extend this one, I'm going to reduce it, deduct it from the down part, which is the base. So I will mark. So it means by the time I remove these 2 inches, it means I'm going to mark 8.5 inches. So I'm going to place it like this. I mark 8.5 inches. That is exactly what I have on the waistline. I mark 8.5 inches. So right now, I'm going to connect this to this. And you see. So the next thing I'm going to do right now is to cut. Remember, I've added the hem allowance when I was measuring the full length. So I don't need to add any other extra hem allowance. So carefully, I trace the curve and I cut. Can you see? So the next thing I'm going to do right now, this automatically becomes the front side of this short. So I'm going to reduce this by 0.5 because normally the crotch of the back is supposed to be a bit longer than that of the front. So I will mark 0.5 inch inward, just little, 0.5. then here 0.5 or 1/4 if you like. So I'm going to cut this off. Remember, I will be cutting just 2 pieces, leaving this down one like this. Can you see? Just 2. So I connect this. Let me quickly do that because of our beginners. So, but if you decide not to, it won't give any effect. So if I decide to leave it like that, no problem. So this is just an additional, so just little, cut it out. So can you see? So the next thing I'm going to do right now is I'm going to turn this. So this automatically becomes my front crotch and this is the back. So the next thing I'm going to do right now, this is the right side, this is the wrong side. So I place right side to right side like this. So I place it like this. So it is time for me to stitch. So the next thing is to place it equally. Make sure it is equal. Then I'm going to sew with 0.5 inches. So I sew like this to this point. Also here 0.5 inches I sew to this point. So that's the next thing I'm going to do right now. So I'll be right back. Now as you can see right here, I've stitched it like this, the crotch line. Then also here, so the next thing I'm going to do right now, I'm going to fold it like this. I'm going to match this one with the second one at the back, and you see, so this one I match it with the front one like this. And you see, so I'm going to run a stitch 0.5 inward like this across this line to this point like this, straight. That's the next thing I'm going to do. So I will be right back. Now as you can see right here, I've stitched the center. Can you see? So this is what I have. Can you see? So the next thing I'm going to do right now is to go back to the waistline. It is time for me to fix the elastic. So what I'm going to do first is the edge here. I'm going to come down by 0.5 inch. So I come down 0.5 inch, 0.5 inch up to this side, 0.5 inch. Can you see? So I'm going to connect this line, and what I have here is what I will also do at the back here. So round like that, I'm going to come down by 0.5 round. So I will quickly connect this one. Zero 0.5. So I connect. So I also connect. So like I said, it's going to be repeated at the back also. So having done that, the next thing I'm going to do is to determine the width or the length of my elastic. Now the first thing here I'm going to do here is to measure what I have here on the waist side. Can you see? I'm going to measure it. So here I have, let me just say, approximately 16 inches. So what I'm going to do right now, on this side I'm going to come in by 3 inches. On my left hand side I come in by 3 inches, or also on my right hand side I come in by 3 inches. So whatever I have in between here is what I'm going to cut for the length of the elastic. Or you can do it this way, like in this case, let me just say approximately I have 16 inches here. So 16 inches minus 6 inches, so I will be measuring 10 inches. That's another simple way to get it. So I'm going to measure 10 inches, and is circumference. So 10 plus 10, I will be measuring the total of 20 inches here. So I'm going to measure 20 inches. That's what I'm going to cut from the elastic. So having cut it, the next thing I'm going to do is to stitch it here, so that I will have um a round shape of this elastic. So by the time I am done, I will be right back. So as you can see right here, I've stitched the elastic together to give me a round shape. Can you see? So right now I'm going to a demarcation. I'm going to make a mark here, so that by the time I begin to fix the elastic on it, I won't have any problem. And I will mark this edge here. I'm going to mark it. I'm going to place a mark right here. Also this edge here, I'm going to make a mark right here. Then the center point here, I'm going to make a mark. Then also what I did on the front part is what I'm going to repeat at the back here, so that by the time I begin to fix the elastic, I will know that this is where I need to draw the elastic. So also on the elastic, what I've just marked, I will also mark it here. You can use something, you can use your marker so that you have a clear mark. Then I will fold this into 2 equal parts like this. I will mark the center like this, just a mark. I will also go in there and do the same thing. So the next thing I'm going to do right now, so from this point, I'm going to place the elastic right on this head, on this line, I place it like this, on this line. Can you see? So I run a stitch at the edge here, round. So when I'm done, I will be right back. Now, as you can see right here, I've run a stitch on the edge of the elastic. Can you see? So the next thing I'm going to do right now is to close it up. So I will do that. Can you see? I will do that by stretching it like this. I fold it like this, that is the upper part. Then I refold it downwards like this. Then I can now run a stitch at the base, round. That's the next thing I'm going to do right now. All right, so far so good. Now I'm done with this tutorial. I went ahead to also stitch the down part. I haven't concluded the edge here. Can you see how neat the inside and the outside is? Can you see? I believe you have found this tutorial very helpful. If you have, please kindly give it a thumbs up, please. Thank you very much for taking your time to watch this video. And also, I also appreciate the passers-by too. Thank you very much. So if you have any comments or you have any question regarding this tutorial, please feel free to drop your question in the comment section. And I will also look out for your comments regarding this tutorial. Thanks so much. So till I come your way again, bye for now.